Hey there, Pastor John here from Journey of Life, and I want to talk for a moment about our mission statement, which is connecting people to abundant life in Jesus. And it always seemed a little vague to me. I like it because it obviously is the words of Jesus, but it seemed a little vague. I was trying to just understand it, and I was on the treadmill this morning, and I was listening to a book about managing the nonprofit organization by Peter Drucker. He was talking about mission statements, and it occurred to me I should think through that. And the more I thought about the mission statement, that connecting people to abundant life in Jesus, I think it's pretty good, and I think it's worth focusing on. And focus is where you get work done, not energy, but focus. I'm standing out here in a field, right? Now I can't see the screen, so I don't know if it's pointed at me because the sun's in my eyes. But so think of a magnifying glass on the grass, right? If I hold a magnifying glass up to near the grass, what happens? There's the same amount of energy from the sun going through the magnifying glass, but it actually creates kind of a shadow, except in the middle there's a bright light, right? So the same amount of energy is there, but what happens is it gets focused. It gets focused in a single point, and then you start to be able to burn the grass or the bugs or whatever you want to burn. But the point is, you haven't changed the amount of energy there, you've just focused it. And so I think our mission statement, connecting people to abundant life in Jesus, can be a real point of focus. So I just want to, I'm just kind of thinking through this on the fly. The first word is connecting. That participle, it's an action. It's an ongoing present action. And it invites us to use our own gifts and talents in doing that however God calls us to do it, and in whatever situation God places us. I think one of the big ways we connect people to abundant life in Jesus is on Sunday morning, which is intentionally divided into two parts. There's kind of the brain part and the heart part. That's one way to look at it. The other part is sort of the other way to look at it is there's kind of the engagement part and the contemplation part. There's the part where you kind of stretch your mind for a while. It's a sermon, hopefully. And then there's a part where you sort of descend into the liturgy part, which is the words that are thousands of years old and have served to be a point of contemplation and thought and even an anchor for people for 2,000 years. So connecting people, that just tells us that we don't get to draw distinctions. There's no such thing as a non-people person. They're all people. Connecting people to, so that tells us that just points us and says that we're connecting people to something in particular, not just making connections. Human connections are great, but as a church, our mission as connecting to, and then abundant, and what that means, Jesus said he came to bring life with a capital L. He came that we may have life and have it abundantly. And so that's what we're supposed to be doing, is connecting people to abundant life. And abundant life is going to look different for every single person. It certainly doesn't have to do with physical abundance. For some people that might be the way it ends up because they have the gift of generosity, and so God has placed them in a position with great resources to be generous. But it doesn't have to be that. Abundant life is feeling in the zone. It's like you're fulfilling God's purposes. Mother Teresa and her followers have abundant life, and they spend their time. Obviously, Mother Teresa doesn't anymore, but her followers still do, taking care of the poor in Calcutta, and they are doing what God has called them to do, and that's abundant life. So we are connecting people to abundant life, and it's in Jesus, and that's an important piece, because most of the great world religions have a lot of good wisdom to offer, because the people who are trying to figure out life and spend time observing and contemplating are going to come to a lot of great wisdom about life. The difference in Christianity is that we say that it's in Jesus because Jesus actually portrays God for us. John 1:14 says, "The Word became flesh and dwelt among us." We're going to celebrate it this Christmas, as we do every Christmas. So in the Christian faith, we say that we see God in Jesus, and that's really, really good news. because God is cooler than you could possibly imagine. Can you imagine the world if everybody thought and acted like Jesus? It would be the most insanely amazing place to live ever. So in Jesus means that's where we really find the true picture of God. And Jesus said that to be his follower, you have to die to yourself and follow him. And so that's where we're going to find that abundant life that is unique to each of us in one way, but yet it's all centered around Jesus, who portrays God for us and brings that message of redemption and a new life available to everybody. So that's kind of my reflections on our mission statement this morning: connecting people to abundant life in Jesus. And it's about focus. There's a lot of energy. We got a lot of energy in our congregation, but it's about focus. And so let's all keep thinking about that. And if you're not part of our congregation, I would like you to think about that too. And maybe just the idea of focus in your life, because that idea of focus is true in every part of our lives, not just in organizational life, like at a church. So anyway, that's my thoughts, and have a great day. God bless you. Bye-bye.